Okay, so if you've ever kept up with the gaming community up until now, you would know that Xenoblade is a game contender. And as you know, I am a Xenoblade fan. However, as much of a Xenoblade fan as I am, I don't think it should be Game of the Year. Actually, wait a second. I know I just pissed off a ton of people and probably just committed a deadly sin to one of you guys. But in all honesty, as much as I am of a Xenoblade fan, it's not that the game was bad. It's just compared to God of War and Elden Ring, and I'm not even an Elden Ring fan, but in terms of sales, and it obviously sold better Elden Ring because it was pretty much on every console except the Switch, and same for God of War except with it was only on PS5 and PS4. So actually, it wasn't on any console. I'm on very much consoles, just the PS5. I'm stupid. But the Switch, it was only on Switch, and it's the games of Xenoblade are good. It's just Xenoblade 3 didn't keep up with Xenoblade 1 or 2. And, it was a mixture of gameplay for both, and it was the combat was hit or miss. It kind of, depends on what type of, game you like playing. And personally, I like Xenoblade 1. But Xenoblade 3, as much as a fan of it as I was, it did have problems. And I'm not going to let them go unnoticed. Because even though I am a fan, I want people to know the problems with the game before I even get into, saying any of the positives. But I should say some positives before so people don't just click off. So, essentially, Xenoblade 3 is a very good game, obviously. And it's not just because I'm a Xenoblade fan, but if it was my first Xenoblade, I would play it. But personally, as much as the people say you don't have to play the first game and the second game, you actually pretty much kind of have to. Because, well, you don't have to, but you just won't understand what's going on. And it also makes itself perfectly clear with that in the beginning, which, somewhat spoiler, it's the first cutscene. Well, not first cutscene, but it's explaining the first cutscene in the game. But essentially it says there are two worlds colliding, and you won't know who those characters are that are explaining it or who are the queens because you won't play the game, and you won't understand certain things in the third game if you don't play the first and second one, which I said in my before the game came out, my most viewed video by far is, yeah, you should because it's a good game. And I was like, if it's not a Game of the Year contender, I'll take it off. And, well, I won't take it off anymore because obviously it is a contender now. But as much of a fan as I think it is a good game, it shouldn't. But back to the point that I was making. You kind of have to play the first ones, but it's you do, but you do. It's like a yes and no. So, yeah, that's one of the problems. And the second problem I have is the fact that I didn't really want to visit any of the places after the game was done, or kind of just the replayability. I didn't really feel like I wanted to replay the games. But in Xenoblade 1 and 2, which I'm playing Xenoblade 3 by the way right now as I'm talking, it just kind of didn't feel that necessary to explore the world, and especially finding the what are they called again? I think they're called I don't know what they're called, but they're called machines, and those machines, which you're supposed to find them in every realm, world, and essentially what you do with them is you go around and then I think they're called transformers, but what you're supposed to do is that you go there and then you use your ether to essentially get the place and you have it as a rest spot, and you can use your whatever for items or something. I can't remember what they're called. But for me, I only found the first one because I just didn't really want to explore all around. And as much as I was leveled up, I just didn't really feel like doing it. And it's not in the sense of I'm a player that doesn't visit going around. I do like going around and visiting places, but I just didn't really feel it was necessary for Xenoblade 3. And honestly, for Xenoblade 1, I felt like I should because it was my first Xenoblade game, and not just because it was my first Xenoblade, But honestly, I just actually wanted to, as well as Xenoblade 2, but I'd say more of Xenoblade 1 more than 2 in my opinion. But in this game, it just I don't it's not that I don't like the art style because I actually really do. But and honestly I prefer it more than the Xenoblade 2. But I don't know, Xenoblade 1 is just like really better than pretty much both of the games. And another problem I have is that I wouldn't say it's too anime-y, kinda, but it's just like, and this is kind of spoilers, but I guess not, it is, but it's not really. It's pretty much my spoiler is not lands, it's Senna. Senna and I guess it's pretty much just Senna that I have a problem with, is that they have a little girl showing that they're like super strong, and then you have Lands, who is literally, if I probably think just looking at him and the characters, he's probably, in my opinion, like 6'4" or 6 foot in general, unless every other character is just short. But he has to be 6 foot or taller, and I'm pretty sure he is. I'll even Google it and edit it if he's less. But it's the fact that him, and he's, in case you haven't seen him, he is literally built like a brick shit house. He is like huge, like Joey Swole level. But then he just gets leveled out by Senna. He doesn't like get hit by her, but it's just like she's put as equal footing, and I get like, oh, it's anime, whatever. But it's like, bruh, like, I don't have any problem with the Nopon. They're pretty fine, honestly. I like the characters, but it kind of has to do with them going around with the whole power of friendship thing. And I don't have a problem with most power of friendships. Well, it's just that some of them, like, when they go, we'll do it in the power of friendship, like when Rex said that, or we'll beat them with the power of friendship. That was actually, like, whenever I heard that, I wanted to put down the game. And even one time I did. But and thankfully I don't think they say it. It's more of, like, just a feeling that they're doing it for, the story just, it's not good. I mean, it is good, just, it's not as good as the first one, and maybe it's because I'm comparing them to the first game, or the second game, but it's just, I also don't like how they, like, hide things until you beat the game, and I get, Xenoblade 2 did that, I'm pretty sure, but at least their quests are somewhat better than 1, because heard 2. I don't remember which game it was that had like the really bad quests. But I'll tell you, Xenoblade 1, there's this one quest that always stuck out to me, and I still remember it to this day. And don't ask me why, but it was my first quest that I actually took seriously in the side quest. And it was, and don't get me wrong, I'm a sucker for romance, alright, in video games, not in real life. I'm not really a big fan of it. But like, in the video games, or specifically Xenoblade 1, there's a guy who has to pick over who he loves. And it's in the, whatever it's called. It's the kingdom of the, what are they even called? Melius people. I don't know what they're called. But they're like pretty much better than the Homs. Yeah, the Homs. So the winged people, it's this one guy, and he has to pick who he loves. And I didn't really like get to finishing it because, spoiler for 1, they all get killed off, and that messed with me kind of much. I was like, yo, I didn't even get to finish the quest. What am I supposed to do? But that kind of like screwed me over in the my first playthrough. And I kind of remember because I didn't finish it, and I'm pretty sure from what I remember is he doesn't really pick anybody. And he pulls a Rex, he goes with the harem route. And I don't really finish it. And I'm pretty sure he either chooses one or he chooses both, and then they just like slap him or something. Because the game Xenoblade 1 wasn't very anime-ish. And I'm sorry I'm going on like how I liked the game of Xenoblade 1, but it's one of my favorite games because it's one of the best JRPGs of all time, and it arguably is the best JRPG of all time Because if you were probably to put Persona 5 or Final Fantasy 7 in front of me, I would smack the shit out of you and then smack those games out and declare war on you and showing Xenoblade 1. And then I would be like, I win. Like it's a fucking Pokemon. But I'm not. Because I'm not talking to anybody. I'm just talking to myself right now. And I honestly think I might be going insane thinking about this. I'm just kidding. I'm not. But another thing I have problems with in specifically Xenoblade 3 is the Cadencia region. It's like the region of water. And you'll know if you play it. It's the freaking sea level. Not level, but sea place. Terrain. Or it's not even in the Nine Titans or the Bionis. So it's kind of hard to like say where it is, but just in the world, it's the Cadencia region. And so my only problem with it is that like in specific islands, it's kind of hard to navigate, and the whole like the whole exploring and stuff, I didn't really like it that much, specifically, especially on this level. Like everyone has their preferences, but on the place where, spoiler, at the end of the game, or after the end of the game specifically, if you continue to play the game, you can go to this place, and it's in the Spirit Crucible Epilipse, or Epilifs. I can't speak that well. But it's in there, and you have to be level 80 to get in there. So it's like, you would get the feeling of, oh, I need to level up and get in there. And so did I. But I couldn't, like, find any level monsters that weren't, like, the red enemies. Because the red enemies take literally, and I kid you not, a generation to kill. And I think this will be part 1, honestly. So this will be part 1, and I'm gonna do a part 2. And this is the end of the part 1, and I hope you watch part 2. And this is Blue, talking about part 1 of why I don't think Xenoblade should be Game of the Year, even though I am a fan, like a diehard fan, and signing out.